Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of EastEnders Weekly, where we discuss the BBC soap EastEnders and all the weddings and shootings we can get.
Yeah, you've got 2 for 1 this week. 2 tragedies in one. Well, I say tragedy. It depends on how you look at the wedding, really. It was more of a triumph.
And slow motion cameras.
Yeah, they got them back out of the old cellar, didn't they? They dug them out ready for...
Only use them for Louise, I feel. Louise is always in the mix of slow cameras.
Yeah, and the wedding of Jack and Ronnie. Remember the disco? The slow motion disco?
So we are discussing the episodes that were broadcast between the 2nd and 6th of September. Although this whole week, I think, has been based on the 31st of August.
It was all happening over one day, when the wedding was the 31st of August.
Because they haven't done that in ages. Remember when it was like when Stacey had a breakdown and they were on the same day for like 3 weeks? Bit like that.
I think technically, if we were to, because they can't just add and detract days willy nilly. So if we were in real time, we'd probably still be back in like 2007 or 8, just because they seem to pull in days and have them all happening over one day. But that doesn't happen in reality. So yes, the 31st of August in Wolford was a week's worth of television.
So we're going to start off with the wedding that never happened. But first, we'll introduce ourselves. I am Ben, the host. And who are you?
We are actually introducing ourselves this week. It changes every week.
Yeah.
Like
change it up.
I'm Alex, and I'm the muggins who comes in and helps Ben out every now and then.
Who listens?
Yeah. To be fair, you probably listen more to me than I listen to you.
That's the job of a good host. So we had the big gay wedding, not between Ben and Callum yet. That'll be next year. But we had Whitney with her fairy dress. Fairy princess wedding, her ideas, but it didn't come true.
The £5,000 that Bianca sent them stretched a long way, hence probably why they have to end up in the Vic for their reception in the end.
Well, the dress was free because Stuart stole it.
We don't know if Stuart stole it. Stuart just was able to get one.
Turned up.
Yeah, he turned up in it. Not wearing it, of course, but yeah, she showed him a picture in a magazine and he was like, right, I've seen one of them somewhere, off to Debenhams and got one.
It's interesting because there was a behind the scenes of the wedding, and the girl who plays Whitney, Shona, she said on there that Whitney's dress this time is completely different to one she had with Lee, and she said it's a fantasy fairy tale dress. So obviously that was like going through like her sort of mind and the feel they wanted for this wedding, which in a way was a fantasy in someone's head because of the whole Callum situation. So I think like the dress styles and things was chosen with a little hint of knowledge in there.
Oh, with care from the wardrobe department, that they knew that this was one big tacky dream, but actually a fantasy. It wasn't that tacky. It was tacky in the photographs when they showed that they got the press.
Yeah, the on location ones.
Yeah, and it did look awful, but actually on screen, and when they did the official picture of Ben looking a bit moody behind Callum and Whitney, it actually was a nice dress.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, we said we were going to do a best and worst dressed of the night. Sadly, Kathy wasn't there, so she can't win.
I know, was Kathy not invited? Or...
Kathy's never involved in big weeks. Don't know why.
Maybe it's not
Gillian
in her contract.
Tailforth is like, no.
Yeah. I don't want to mess my hair up.
I don't do stunts.
yeah.
I do gritty drama only.
Leave that to Mel. She does the stunts.
So it's a shame Kathy wasn't there. But I mean, yeah, best dressed, worst dressed, any contenders?
I think Callum and Ben were dressed pretty sharp.
Ben was the best, but he wasn't really invited. But he turned up uninvited and was the best dressed. It's like, you bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Gate crashed the wedding and then end up looking the best of them all. I mean, Callum looked good. It's just that when he was running, it wasn't very suitable for the activity with his arms up like a little dinosaur.
Yeah, I think he couldn't run in those shoes either, because I have watched that a lot because it's like a gif.
It's become a meme. It's become a meme on our Twitter as well.
So I think his trousers were tight and he had like a jacket on.
No, I don't think his
shoes were like long and slippy. So I think it was just difficult for him to run, I think.
No, if he was running on a carpeted surface, then perhaps, yes, there would be a bit of a movement where he'd be slipping a lot and kind of tracking wouldn't be so good. But no, it was a concrete surface. It was a good solid
area. He hasn't got very good shoes on. It could be dangerous.
Yeah, it was fine. Perhaps the winkle pickers were a little bit out of hand. But, I do think it was just his general running style. He just liked to kind of spring. He kind of sprung from one step to the next. It was a very slow... It looked like... To him, I think he thought he was running quite fast, but to the viewer, it looked like he was just doing a gentle little
very
jump.
Very upright as well, like his back.
Oh, his
very
back
good.
Was,
what's it called? Very good posture.
Yeah.
But it was a bit stiff.
But his arms, like I said, his arms were like, it was like that of a dinosaur, like the tiny little hands and little arms kind of like stuck to his side as he did his little job. What made me laugh every time was that every time a character was like, what do you think? It would almost lead to it. So it'd be like, what do you think, Callum? Callum? And then the next shot would be Callum running away.
I wonder how many times he had to run, Tony Clay, like that day. Well, there was 2 times he did his little run off.
But he ran off to...
One was a lot longer than the other.
Well, one was he running like past a shrub, and then the other one he was running past the building.
Cars, yeah.
But it was a really long shot as well. It was just like they did.
Obviously.
Well, no, because you could have shown like he was running away in a second, in a blink of the eye.
No, we needed the shot.
You needed to know that he was doing a full on running to the. But again, the geography of Walford is baffling. That you can
police station.
You can literally run to the police station, then run home. And then run back to the church. Like Stuart said, the public transport, I had to catch 9 buses to get here. But yet Callum was able to do it in one run.
Well, we've seen his run. He's very quick. He just keeps going.
Just turn him with the key and watch him run.
How about worst dressed then? We've done best dressed. I think we both agree Ben. What about best dressed female? Jean?
I was about to say, but Jean. I think Jean put a good effort on. Linda looked good, despite the hangover.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Linda. She's a bit...
It was the typical Linda kind of...
sequiny.
Ensemble. Yeah.
Worst dressed,
worst dressed had to be Kat or Bianca.
Bianca, yeah. Or Lola, even though she tried.
Well, she did try, but it was a typical Lola dress again, wasn't it?
Highlighter kit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they got her a plain white dress and she just got out the Stellos and just started colouring them in with the pink and the yellow.
But it was, I remember someone like tweeted us or something and they said, it's amazing that Lola managed to look worse than Bianca. And Lola actually tried and Bianca had been in a cell all night. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she takes the biscuit for worst dressed, I'm afraid.
It does. It's just not surprising that Lola yet again had failed in her fashion. She's just stuck in like 2000. Even when she was in it in 2012, she was not really ahead of the curve. So she's stuck in like the early 2000s.
They did the behind the scenes on Instagram of Lola as well. A day in the life of.
Well, but that was thrilling.
It was really bad actually. It was really boring. Sorry, whatever your name is. Danielle. Is it Danielle?
No.
I think it is. But they did a live and they showed like a sped up version of her doing her makeup, like with the team.
They had to speed it up because it was so long.
Well, they always do. It's like a time lapse.
All right.
But halfway through, she just did it herself.
Oh.
Weird.
Commendable, you know.
It's weird though, isn't it? I thought they'd get it done for them. Letitia Dean wouldn't be doing her own.
Oh, God, no. She'd be barking orders left, right, and centre. Curl the hair better, darling.
That's what they need. A day in the life of Letitia Dean.
Yeah, but it's Letitia allowing it to happen. We've been watching the Gemma Collins docu-soap recently, and I can imagine that Tish would be...
No, Tish is very nice in real life.
No,
She's
yeah,
very ordinary.
I'm making a joke for the sake of it.
So yeah, we had the wedding. There was running back and forth. Bianca did turn up in the end, but they weren't going to let her out of prison.
Yeah, she was in jail with Kat.
They went clubbing.
Well, I completely forgot their friendship.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah, it really surprised me that when you woke up and you saw Bianca was in the jail cell and she had a hand go over her. We all thought, oh goodness, what's
another lesbian
relationship. Here we go, another lesbian. But yeah, so she was in jail with Kat, and
she had a few bombshells.
Well, she said she's just come out of prison,
so that's why she's not been around.
Yes,
like being there for Tiff or
she's not
Whitney.
been making any contact with the other butchers.
So I don't know where the 5k came from. Like she wrote a check in prison.
Oh yeah, that's not really been explained very well, has it?
Isn't it funny that this is a week where Bianca came back and Lisa, but they're not even like the main talking points? How weird is that?
Considering that it took a lot to get Patsy Palmer back as well, you'd think that she would have been a bit more involved with the Callum and Whitney story than what she actually ended up being.
We've got 2 more weeks of her, so.
Well, she was kind of more focused down the Tiff route, because Tiff was being really dismissive of Bianca the whole time.
No time for her.
Yeah, so and Tiff was like, well, why are you trying to be all nice with me now? You know, I could have really used your help this past year with Evie and everything that's gone on with me. And I think Bianca is genuinely quite upset and sorry for not being there for Whitney.
Yeah, because even Sonia said a few untruths to her, didn't she? To Bianca. And she said, oh, you sound like mum, so... Well,
I mean, Sonia this week was... strong. Let's be honest. She didn't... Again, Sonia's biggest... asset is not to be centre stage, but to be able to step in when needed. And she stepped
cool,
in,
collective.
Yeah, she stepped in when needed quite a lot this week. And there was that great scene when her and Robbie and Bianca were together for the first time in 7 or 8 years. It was like the first scene they'd been together.
The Jacksons, yeah.
The Jacksons being together, and they were having drinks together, and it felt right. It felt like old EastEnders again. It felt
Mm.
comfortable.
It did surprise me how quickly like Bianca seemed to just fit into the cast like straight away. She really did just literally slot in because she's got Jack and Max and Kat and Sonia. So it wasn't like she just turned up and a bit like Ruby or Mel, like they turned up and didn't really
Or Lola.
know any. Yeah, or Lola. But didn't really know anyone.
Yeah,
but,
they were shoehorned into a scenario so that they would seem like they were meant to be there.
She got involved in Whitney's storyline because she found out about Callum's sexuality. She basically said to Whitney, like, he's gay, don't marry him.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't know what he is.
Well, exactly.
Come on, Whitney.
Yeah, you need to give him a step back, really, and give him a way of finding out for himself.
But how great was Whitney once all that happened? She decided not to get married to him, and they both went back home.
Well,
like,
it took a bit of persuasion for Whitney because she did take the walk down the aisle, and it wasn't until Callum was saying the vows to her and she looked over to Bianca, and Bianca kind of gave a look.
Don't do this.
Yeah, you're making a mistake. Then she triggered and she thought it through a bit more sense.
But like those scenes at the flat were just really good. Like how Whitney like took the news in a way. Like it seemed to have sunk in a little bit, and she put two and two together about Chris.
Yeah.
And Ben, and she was like relatively understanding.
I think she was very understanding. I think again, using the term triggered, what triggered her was that she didn't want it thrown in her face just yet. So she was able to take a step back and understand Callum. She does say to Callum that, I can't get together with you because I wouldn't want to stop you. I wouldn't want to get in your way of,
I love you too much to stop you being yourself.
Well, Callum says, I love you and I want to be with you. Whitney's like, not to have a go at Callum, but I think that Callum's love is almost disingenuous a little bit because I think that he just feels...
He thinks it's what he needs to say.
It's what he needs to say. It's a way of covering up a lie. He's covering a lie. Or he's lying to himself, I should say. And he thinks that this is what society and what he should be doing in this society.
He's like being a yes man, kind of,
in
his own head.
Which is what Whitney really had with Lee as well. And she made that mistake with Lee. Obviously not his sexuality, but he was trying to be part of society by being able to get all the nice things for her and having this nice flat. And she's been through that trouble once already, and I don't think she would want to go through that trouble again, and understands for Callum. So it was nice that she did. She kind of took a step back and said, I love you too much, I want you to be happy. And then
he kind of ruined it because Ben turned up.
But then that wasn't his fault though.
I know, but it was like, for God's sake, please don't. But she walked in on them talking to each other, and like, did he have his hand on his knee or something?
No, I think he had his hand on his shoulder.
But it was in the bedroom.
It was in the bedroom.
They could have had a chat in the lounge.
Yeah, but Callum was in the bedroom. I love that Callum couldn't even be drunk properly. He was like, I can't even get drunk right. I feel sick, and he had like 2 bottles of beer. He's such an innocent lad.
I know
isn't
he is. Bless him. But I mean, talking about his run again, he was running across the pavements. He literally went over the pavement, wouldn't go across the grass. Do not run on grass, and he didn't. That's Callum, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Callum all over.
He respected the council laws.
Too respectful.
Yeah. So that was almost the straw that broke the camel's back for Whitney, though, wasn't it? After she had the conversation with Stuart, and Stuart said, "He does love you," and like you could tell what he was saying wasn't right.
No.
But
gave her a little bit of false hope, or she thought, "Oh, I better go and see him," and then she obviously saw them in the bedroom together and was like, "Right, I'm gonna let everyone know." So that's when all the characters in the Vic, and she was like about to announce that Callum had been like having a thing with.
I don't know
Ben,
if she was going to announce that, or whether she was just going to announce that he was gay. Because I think Callum was more scared that they were going to announce that his sexuality.
Because Ben said to her like, "Not here, Whit," or something, wasn't it?
No, Callum said it's like, "Don't do this, and don't go through with this." I mean, this is the one kind of chink in Whitney's armor, really, that this is not the proper way of exposing someone's sexuality. It's unfair to him. And after she said all those kind words to him, saying that, you need to find out for yourself who you are, and I'm not going to stand in your way. And she even says to Stuart on the swings at the PG that, she doesn't hate him, she loves him. Then seeing him and Ben together had triggered her again and made her
She thought,
upset.
"Oh, you've moved on, like bunking up with him."
Yeah,
basically is what she thought. I did have this on my wish list that I wanted her to be a fag hag and like kind of accept it. And everyone was like, "That won't happen. It's a big EastEnders wedding." But it did kind of happen. So I'm really glad how they played it. I
mean, it goes out of tradition for EastEnders that two characters who have gone through this ride together, the likely outcome is that they're going to be forgiving. I mean, we'll talk about the shooting a bit later, but there's also Callum and Ben and Whitney on the Friday's episode, and you see the relationship between those three. And
because she's like watching in, isn't she? And she sees like Callum comforting her, and so I think it makes
Callum comforting Ben.
Yeah, so it kind of makes us see that there's a bit more to it than just like a fling.
Well, she's had a moment also to take a deep breath and step back and realise that
and have a gun put in her face.
Well, also true. Well, they've all had the gun put in their face. Hunter didn't skip on anyone. And from seeing how Callum was reacting to Ben, it was, I think Whitney realised that, as you said, there was more to it than just this one night that Callum had with Ben, and perhaps there's more that could blossom between them.
Hopefully she knows that there's more there between them, and luckily we know a little bit that could happen because we've got some fan fiction coming up.
Well, we got the fortune teller to come in and give us a scene of the future.
So what you're listening to, not safe for work. Fast forward now, if I was you, if you don't like rude scenarios. So fast forward if you want to. But we've got a little what if Callum and Ben went on holiday together. Are you ready? Because we're back.
It's a fan favourite.
Another edition of EastEnders Fan Fiction.
We've had a couple of requests for it. And when we last did it, a lot of people sent us a lot of feedback. The people who felt that just raunchy enough to, enjoy.
On the bus.
On the bus, yeah.
So yes, we are back. And of course, because it's fan fiction, it's about Ballum.
I mean, there is no other fan fiction. There isn't. You might as well just throw... If you start a story and it doesn't involve Ben and Callum, just throw it in the bin. We're not interested. Yeah, there might be descriptions or acts that some people might find not appropriate.
Yeah. So just fast forward and skip all this.
Skip this section. I will also do my best to try to edit out any naughty words. But some words I might find not so naughty as others, so just be aware that there may be some words that you might find offensive too.
So, this is from the author Dingle Tragedy, who was also the author of our previous fan fiction.
He or she, if we...
She.
Oh, okay. Because we're in touch with her now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we always ask her permission, yeah.
Yes, and she's more than happy to give us permission for us to use this story. I've not read it yet, because Ben reads it to me.
I've read, most of it, but not all of it.
See, what you can't see is Ben's wearing a very romantic suit. He's reading me the story to kind of hotten me up.
No, that's not
the
what
romance.
I'm doing it all for myself.
You're feeling the romance from reading it out loud to our listeners.
Yeah. So the story is called Heart-Shaped Bruises and Late Night Kisses. We're reading chapter 4 and it's called He Looks Like an Angel, but He Talks to Me.
Was that it? Sorry, was it?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure actually. Let me have a look.
Okay.
He looks like an angel, but he talks like me.
Start the music.
Ben's head is swimming, warm and lazy, and Caribbean eyes.
Okay, wait, stop. Caribbean eyes? For what, his eyes are Caribbean?
I think so. Caribbean blue eyes.
Oh, like the sea? Oh, I see. So he hasn't been in a fight or something. He's not hazy because of a fight.
I think what's happened is that this is set with Ben and Callum on a secret holiday together.
Oh, I see. So the previous 3 chapters, because you've jumped into chapter 4.
But they don't really follow each other. But no. I think this one is them on holiday.
Right. Okay.
Secretly.
So previous to this, they've had romantic meetings.
Oh yeah, everything on the show.
But this is this is fiction now. So everything before was true, but this is fiction. Right. Okay.
It all feels absolutely glorious. The bed beneath him is huge, about 16 pillows piled high. 16
pillows? Was it the Princess and the Pea?
Sheets as soft as silk. The headboard was broad and solid. Maybe it's oak.
Maybe.
It looked like it wouldn't budge much at any rate.
Oh, Ben. One track mind.
We'll come back to the headboard probably later in the story.
Oh, is that a clue?
No,
is that a spoiler?
I'm assuming. A night here was probably going to cost Ben a week's wage, but he reckons it'll be worth it.
A week's wage is nothing, so nothing of nothing is a pretty good deal.
It always is with Callum. They'll lay like parallel lines, not quite touching, except for the wisps. feet pointing in opposite directions on the hotel bed. Ben doesn't have a look at Callum to know he looks devastatingly stunning, gorgeous, breathtaking. Callum always is. Every second that he's breathing.
Every second that he's breathing, he's breathtaking. There seems to be an oxymoron there somewhere.
Ben decides that he doesn't care much for parallel lines. Not in this particular moment.
Okay, right. Parallel lines. I'm sure this is going to turn into horizontal lines.
He wants to be perpendicular.
Oh, wow.
No,
Someone got their dictionary out today.
I wasn't expecting that.
No.
He wants to be touching Callum head to toe as one.
So like one kind of merge. A bit like when the monster creates itself in Stranger Things 3.
Callum's throaty laugh curls through the room like smoke and snaps Ben out of his thoughts. He wants to catch the sound of his mouth, breathe it in, have it live within him.
Oh, I'm not sure I like this.
Maybe he's had a mint.
Yes, yeah.
Don't want coffee breath inside you.
Absolutely. Well, or cocktails.
We're going to say something else then. What you laughing at? He questions Callum, head craning left to catch a glimpse of his favourite smile.
I forgot they're parallel.
You, I can practically hear you thinking. Callum replies, tapping 2 fingers against Ben's forehead.
Oh, I see. To signify thinking.
Whose murder are you plotting this time?
Oh.
Mean Callum.
Well, mean, but harsh but fair. Harsh but fair.
Yours, Ben jokes. Nah, I was just thinking about lines. Parallel, perpendicular, you know.
I mean, where did this intelligence come from, Ben? Like, he's not exactly the biggest wordsmith when you see him on screen, and now he's talking about perpendicular. Even I can't say it.
Oh right, so you're thinking about lines, he replies, a crease of confusion pulling over his forehead. Lines. When you could be kissing me instead?
No.
Seems that way.
Yes, here he goes. This is starting now. It all starts with lines, doesn't it?
Callum's face appears above Ben. Suddenly, his lips close. So close. Not close enough. Callum? Ben exhales. He likes how the name rolls off his tongue. Familiar.
He likes how Callum rolls off his tongue.
Ben? Callum's mouth is so gentle when it moves, when it forms his name. His lips look like home around Ben's name. You gonna kiss me then? Or what? And so Ben does.
Oh, good. At least he took the note.
I got description now.
Oh god, this is when it begins.
Callum's mouth is soft and warm. It moves slowly against his own. His tongue curls gently around Ben's own, and Ben's brain goes all cloudy because Callum tastes like peppermint and sugar.
Oh, so he has been taking cocktails.
Yeah, peppermint
Hey,
and sugar.
see? So you were right about the mint.
That's entirely Callum.
That's so Callum.
Ben cocks his head up once more, kisses him properly with fire, heat. He bites at Callum's lower lip, pushes his way into his mouth. Callum lets him.
Consent. There's nothing more important than a bit of consent.
Oh yeah, got that. Sometimes Ben thinks he must have been drifting until now, until this. This man and his lips hot and so gorgeous. Callum's like a cool breeze on a summer evening.
A peppermint breeze.
Yeah, peppermint sugar breeze.
Yeah, that's...
Leaves him shivering in a welcome style. Missed you? Callum whispers into the skin of Ben's cheek. It's an awkward angle because they both lay on their sides, both toying on the edge of dominance. But it feels like fire anyway. Good fire, of course. Like slow, burning embers sizzling just beneath the skin. It's warm and it's nice.
I think Ben should get that checked.
And it's becoming quite familiar.
He should definitely get that checked. Where's Dr. Leg when you need him?
Callum dips his head and kisses at Ben's throat. Gently at first. But as Ben gasps, he brings his teeth out.
What? So is it as if he's eating something sour? That's how I imagine it. Yeah, so when you put something in your mouth that's sour, your lips kind of curl around your teeth. Like that.
Dragging them across Ben's taut skin.
Ooh.
Taut neck. That's what he's got.
Giraffe neck. How long's that neck?
His hands settle on Ben's shoulders, pinning him down against the mattress.
Oh, the dominance. Callum's got the dominance.
We're going to see the oak headboard soon.
It's coming into play.
Ben thought tonight might go the other way. Plans of pinning Callum on the soft mattress, getting him through the week. But now, in this moment, he lets Callum climb on top of him.
I love that he lets Callum. So in his mind, he's still the dominant one.
Yeah,
but he's
but
allowing.
letting them.
He's allowing Callum to feel like he's dominant on this occasion.
Lets himself enjoy it. The force of Callum, the hard, muscular press of him. It's quite overwhelming. Ben tilts his head to the side, grants Callum the access he's been digging for.
From his head. Was it on a hinge? So like he lets him into his neck.
He reveals the rush of blood travelling under his boxers.
Uh-oh.
He feels lightheaded already.
Again, just a reminder to everyone, if you don't want to listen to this content, please feel free to skip now.
I mean, that's a lot of blood if he's gone lightheaded already.
Well, it may be the appendage needs a lot of blood in order for it to perform.
Ben lets his head tip back against one of the pillows, looks up at the beige and ugly ceiling, but the air swirls and ripples around it, and he watches the patterns from the plaster. I remember on the last one we read of this, didn't he get distracted by the ceiling last time as well? And we were like, this isn't, he's not very into it.
Maybe Ben's got a premature problem, and so he needs to think of something else to distract him. Yeah,
oak headboard.
Like Austin Powers was Margaret Thatcher. You think of something else with that, so it doesn't. Yeah, and the headboard's probably going to be a right pain later.
His eyes still as Callum's hand dips into his underwear.
Boom. No permission there.
Dips. Everything stills suddenly, blurring around the edges, and Callum seems to think how it is an acceptable time to spread his thighs over Ben's hips.
Spread like butter.
Yes, this is the right time. Rocking down gently. Ben hisses through his teeth and his eyes widen because he's hard. And Callum's hard.
There's so much hissing. Just imagine these two guys just looking at you going...
And it feels just wonderful. And Ben just once. That's all one word.
Just once. Was there no gap between them?
No, once.
Once.
No one has ever made Ben's body ache and want like Callum has.
Once. What Callum wants.
He bucks his hips upward.
Bucks! I love it.
Weakly, because his head doesn't feel connected to his body anymore. And Callum's barely got a hand on him yet. Literally, I think.
I think so.
He watches as Callum licks at his lower lips. A flash of pink or red.
God.
His eyes drag down the length of Ben's body as the white of his teeth replace his tongue and sink into his bottom lip. There's lots of process there, isn't there?
Wait, hang on, yeah. So his teeth have gone. They've gone inside him. They've retracted.
His eyes drag down the length of Ben's body.
Right.
And the whites of his teeth replace his tongue.
Replace
so he
his
sticks
tongue?
his tongue out, or
no, his teeth replace his tongue.
into his bottom lip. Oh, because his teeth have gone.
So
into
he's
his
retracted
lip.
his tongue, and now he's biting his bottom lip. You gotta be careful. You can cut someone doing that.
Come on, cupping Callum through his jeans. He's hard against Ben's palm, gratifyingly so, and his eyelashes flatter when Ben tightens his grip.
Again, in the last story written by the same author. She mentioned that Callum had quite long eyebrows because I compared it to a horse.
Oh, yeah.
so again, she's obsessed with these eyebrows. That's where all the air's coming from when he was looking up at the roof, the airflow from his eyes blinking.
It makes Ben feel quite weak. Callum exhales and dives in with his mouth again. Cages Ben with his arms, with his body, with the weight of himself. Ben's body shivers, buzzing, skin sizzling with want so tangible he could slice into it. Take those off, he prompts against Callum's parted lips as he tugs at Callum's belt loops.
I mean, this reminds me of a certain scene in a playground. When
Inspiration.
There was a flail of undressing.
He needs skin on skin. Callum doesn't move for a minute. Hips rocking slow into Ben's hands. Lip caught up between teeth.
So much teeth.
No, we need to work on that, Callum. For a second, he isn't sure if Callum's heard his request, so opts for pushing at his chest to get him moving. The jeans are off.
Wow.
That's quick.
That's it, done.
And Ben's boxes are off too. A package deal, it seems.
Don't see that in a Thomas Cook.
That's a great end of that paragraph. Callum starts smoothing his palms over the soft of Ben's stomach, and then the curve of his hips, and finally the bow of his arse.
Can I just quickly rewind? So they've just called Ben fat in that one line. the roundness, the softness of his tummy,
stomach,
the roundness of his hips,
the bow of his arse.
bow of his arse.
Not bum.
No.
Arse. Slipping beneath elastic and fabric to bare skin. He squeezes, gingerly at first, then roughly, one hand fitted to each cheek, and a low moan rumbling against Ben's throat. Ben can't breathe right, because Callum just keeps squeezing, spreading his cheeks against slightly, letting a long finger brush over his hole. A press, and nothing more.
A press and nothing more. That's love, isn't it? When you don't actually penetrate straight away, you just press.
Right, so we're gonna stop there pressing on certain things.
But I want to press on, Ben. I want to press on. Okay, fine. So, are we gonna get an outcome to this story?
Oh, there'll be an outcome.
Oh, later on the show.
I think so. So we'll split it into two.
Just like Ben and Callum.
So keep listening for more to find out how this ends.
Oh my god. I don't think I can stand waiting too long.
I know, just like them in the bed. It's all about to pop off and we need to get back to it.
Yeah, we really do. So this is a shorter section in the middle this time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We've got like the two really, really short stories of Iqra's mood, I guess.
If you're going to sum it
and
up.
Jay and Lola
getting it on.
getting together, apparently.
Yeah.
So Iqra was in a bad mood. Tina picked up on it, one of her tribe.
Yes.
She keeps like smiling at like Iqra and like I think she like fancies her.
Yeah, I think that it seems to be something happening there, doesn't it?
And she tells Tina like she came out in front of everyone and to her grandparents because I'm assuming Ian did the catering for the wedding. That's why Iqra was there serving the food. Wolford East.
I think Wolford East did the catering, but I don't think necessarily... Yeah, well, you could also argue then Max did the catering too, but I think the catering was physically done by Iqra and Habiba because the nibbles that they were serving were of an Indian cuisine, weren't they? More of like these little kind of curry-like bites. Yes, I know, but the Wolford part was Ian, and the East part was always Masood.
That's true. Samosas.
That's right, samosas, which we haven't seen in a long time.
No, Miriam hasn't made one in a while, has she?
But and also Wolford East is meant to be a fusion, but I think this meal or this buffet that they were creating wasn't so much as a fusion as a East, so no Wolford in sight. Plus Ian wasn't invited to the wedding.
I know.
So
He's
Kathy
busy
and
catering.
Kathy and Ian
That's
and
what
Bobby
Kathy was doing.
No, I don't think she was.
Yeah, she was buttering sandwiches.
I think she was making pastries ready for the Prince Albert. For their opening.
What, in willy shapes?
Yeah, little Danishes shaped in as genitalia.
So we've got more hints that Miriam is possibly not really particularly happy with Iqra's relationship situation.
Well, see, last week on, I think, our Facebook group, I mentioned that it was a bit strange. Or I was having a conversation with someone that it was
on this
strange.
podcast.
Someone reached out on our Facebook group to me, Ben.
Wow, so you didn't talk to me about this?
You don't need to know everything I do in my life, and I'm independent.
I'm
my own man.
If it involves Miriam, I need to know.
If I want to take a siege in the middle of the square, then I will. Just leave me alone, all right? So yeah, and there's something I completely forgot about, and that is that Miriam was assaulted and had her necklace stolen from her.
Oh yeah.
And so when
that brilliant scene.
Not a laughing matter.
It was.
And Iqra last week didn't necessarily say, let's go out and be gay or anything like that. But not that you would. But she just said, should we go out and have a meal? And perhaps that was what triggered. Word of the week is triggered for me. Maybe that's something that made Miriam suddenly realise or have
I don't want to go outside, I don't feel
safe.
safe.
That's right. So she might be feeling a bit agoraphobic. And so she wants...
Not homophobic.
No, yes. She's not a homophobe. She's an agoraphobe.
I see.
She hates that outside.
Possibly.
To what it's done to her, yeah.
She didn't seem that upset when it happened, though, but maybe it took a while to, like, sink in.
I mean, it's shock of it, wasn't it? Because when it happened, she didn't really react at all, didn't she? She was like, I'm just going to carry on making...
She just held her Tesco bag. Like, I'm fine.
Not Tesco. Low-cost mart.
Oh, yeah, Minute Mart.
There is no brands. No low-cost mart. There's two different... Oh, my goodness. Do I have to go through this with you
I remember
again?
There's a bigger one.
Yes. So low-cost mart is the supermarket, and Minute Mart is like a Tesco Metro.
Other brands available.
Other
Sainsbury's local. But that was it with really Iqra. She was just a bit moody and told Tina, and Tina would like kind of had a little sexy giggle at her when she walked off. So
little aside.
Something's happening there. Even though she knows she's got a girlfriend, Tina, so stay away.
I think Iqra was also quite miffed because Lola was her normal, reasonable,
I know, she
charming
literally
self.
chewed it up and spat it on the plate right in front of her.
Yeah,
in
it's
front
like,
of
that's
everyone.
disgusting. What's that? It's like, nice, Lola.
Smosa.
yeah. Your face. I wish she had just got her head and slammed it on the plate and said, "You."
So let's talk about Lola and Jay, shall we? Because they were like doing little flirty things throughout the week, and Lola was like manipulating Lexi into getting Jay to sit next to them, and
oh yeah, because she goes, "Will you sit next to me, please?" And she's
and
really
her heel broke, so Jay had to like hold her to help her walk out.
And then he tried to fix it, and he wasn't able to. And then Lola said, "Oh, you broke my shoe, so you can buy me a drink." It's just amazing.
I just don't understand. I swear, like a few months ago, they were together anyway, but I didn't even know they didn't.
Well, they did get
broke
together,
up.
and then the guy who she lived with up north came down.
Oh,
and
this
then
was
Ben...
after that, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought they were together.
Lola's story is so boring. I just forget what's happened. The only thing I remember is there's one time when I actually felt a bit sorry for Lola, and when Ruby was being a bit of an annoyance.
She was being horrible to Ruby.
But to be again, it was tit for tat, wasn't it? It was just ridiculous.
But their biggest part of this week's storyline, if
Yeah.
you can call it that, was them locking themselves upstairs in the Vic toilets.
Yes, because Mick and Linda's toilets.
Yeah, the
As
upstairs.
in their bathroom.
Yeah, the flat upstairs.
Because Jay was a bit scared by the gun shot.
Now, do you know why this was? Do you know the link towards all this? I've got the link if you want to hear it.
I imagined it would be something like when Tamwa saw a fire and it caused some kind of reaction.
Tamwa? What that got to do?
Remember ages ago when there was the fire and they were going, "Tamwa, quickly help them," and he couldn't because he had flashbacks
Burnt on his
of when
back.
he was because he was in a fire. Yeah, I just assumed it would be a
That's something
flashback.
happened to Jay.
Yeah, when he was
No,
younger.
it was to do with when Jace was killed, his dad, because Billy locked Jay in the bathroom, like so he didn't see it or witness it, and then it was all going off.
Oh.
So I think it was like a parallel to that.
So Billy, unbeknown to him, had given Jay some trauma.
Yes, and then
Nice one,
and then
Billy.
Lola obviously did like the same thing. She said, "You go in there first," and she took the key and stuff. So I think they were kind of showing that. So there was kind of a point to it.
Do you think Janet's going to have like a fear of apple bobbing this Halloween?
Or dentist.
Or dentist after her dad decided to drink a litre of alcohol and a million ibuprofen when his tooth fell out.
Maybe. She have a lot. No, she have phobias of Swedish nannies and cars.
Oh yeah, and ghosts. I mean, a lot's happened to Janet in her short
know.
life, hasn't it?
Bless her.
Like a thing has happened around her, and she's just about to sit there and witness it. What an awful life Janet's had.
Well, she's got a surname of a Mitchell, so that's what you expect.
Yeah, true.
I'm guessing someone texted Jay and said like Ben's been shot because he suddenly knew.
Well, no, because they all had to put their phones on the bar.
Oh yeah, but Phil knew outside, so maybe Phil like texted him.
Well, we'll talk about this when we do the hunt.
But something happened, but Jay got like the info, but Lola saw that as another opportunity.
Maybe Jay heard Whitney on the telephone downstairs talking to the police officer.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And that's how he found out about Ben. He said, "I can't lose Ben. And Lola was like, "Come here, kiss me." And then
opportunity here.
Yeah, exactly. Again, so that's what she is, though, an opportunist.
Did they have
opportunist?
Did they have sex? Do you think? Is there going to be a pregnancy? Jay and Lola.
Oh, I hope not.
No, so do I. But they were kissing, so I just have to assume that in 9 months there'll be a storyline.
And she'll probably give birth to it she did do that in the kebab house, didn't she?
And her and Jay will have a child and he'll want to adopt Lexi and it will upset him and Ben or something. Like, I'm hoping they didn't get that far. I mean, they couldn't have got that much into it with all those gunshots downstairs.
When did her contract run out?
Probably a year contract.
It's great.
Got a while.
It's great.
She's only been there like
literally
3
counting
months.
the days.
Oh, poor Lola. Yeah, they were just like together, I guess, in the fear of danger of maybe losing their lives. They don't want to miss out on the one
I
of their
suppose,
loves.
you might as well have sex. This might be your last opportunity.
Before I'm shot.
In a funny way, I wish Hunter did cheat. That would be the ending. That would have been the best ending. You just see Hunter in the doorway and they're both kind of recovering after their sex and it's just like, bye, Lola.
Got to go for a week. I go upstairs. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go on, Hunter. You might find Lola up there. Don't be shy.
Yeah, that's them. So I hope she's not pregnant or whatever happened up there in that bathroom. There was no protection in there. Not with Mick and Linda's bathroom.
Well, there's no need, is there?
Exactly. Where was Lexi as well? She's just hanging around with Kathy.
She's probably
Nanny Kath.
I mean, Lexi should be there, shouldn't she? Because Lexi was at the wedding.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just drop her off for the reception, would you?
I don't know. Lola's.
Lola's no mother.
Let Mummy get with Jay and you play with Nanny Kathy.
You can
these
have
pills.
You can have these special pick and mix if you let me manipulate Daddy Jay. Oh, it's just awful. It's just.
She's just pointless, bless her.
She's a one plot character.
She's not even one plot, is she?
Well, she
Not even
is
had
because
that.
because she was meant to be with
Oh yeah, that
Ben
plan about Ben.
for the plan, and that's kind of been.
I think they changed Ben a
yes,
bit, and
they
they
have.
thought, "Oh, Callum and Ben are too good. We're going to get rid of that plot." And now Lola's just stuck doing hair, not well.
Well,
either.
a job she didn't want, and now decided she does want. And now isn't she entering that competition? Hair.
No, she's not good enough. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. She's been doing hair since she left EastEnders.
Yeah.
What, 7 years ago?
It was not 7, but it was a while ago.
Yeah. So what's she been doing? Like, how's she not been educating herself over hairdressing or learning to cut hair? Oh, I'm not as good as you, Chantel.
You do it.
You do it.
I've got Jay to manipulate.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that's enough about those two because they're boring. So we're going to go on to part 2 of our fan fiction, where temperatures start heating up now from the first word. Part 2 of our dirty weekend away.
Welcome back, everyone. Did you enjoy part 1 or did you skip it?
Dirtier.
Yeah. Just to quickly sum up, in part 1, they were parallel on a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Ben want Callum, and we left them in the act of pressing
a hole.
So as before, if this is content perhaps you don't want to listen to, although we'll do our best to censor out the naughtiest parts or words, you may want to skip part 2 of this dirty piece of trash.
So this is part 2 of Dingle Tragedies. He looks like an angel, but he talks like me. Fuck cow.
Wow, start strong. Start strong.
Are you trying to kill me? Now there's an idea. It's Callum's smart answer. Impressive, thinks Ben.
What, that he wants to kill you? I love that impresses Ben Mitchell.
Mouths colliding like a fusion reactor.
Wow, that sounds messy.
Brushing kisses rippled from greedy, swollen lips.
I love the descriptions.
Their bodies are flush now. A slick slide of heated flesh and bone and shine. Heady and thick.
Shine. Heavy and thick.
Ben swallows back a groan as Callum closes his hand over his cock. Sorry, I thought that's a cloak then. I'm a bit confused for a second. No. Closes his hand over his cock. Rubs his thumb under the head firmly. No warning. No caution.
Can you imagine if he did warn Ben after saying he's going to murder him? Oh, by the way, I'm just going to rub my thumb gently under your cock.
Ben does his best to keep the sounds behind his teeth.
Teeth again!
No, he needs to get rid of him. While Callum teases him, his fingernails rough in Ben's hair. The twist of his hand hot and cruel on Ben's dick. Oh, it just goes all over the place from his head to his...
His hands are everywhere, aren't they? He's like an octopus.
Suddenly, he wants it. No, needs it. Him, like air.
Yeah, we all need it like air. Yeah.
Callum's fingertips press bruises into Ben's waist.
Oh, is these the heart-shaped bruises?
Yeah, maybe. Thumb sets heavily on the sharp points of his hip bone, and he smiles, sharp, and just for a second, up at Ben. The bastard, Ben thinks.
You bastard, fancy pleasuring me.
What's got you so revved up tonight, Ben asks. His mouth is still open, out of breath now though.
Teeth still showing? Is there any sign of teeth?
Been waiting to get you alone all week, Callum says, breathless. You've got no idea. Any response Ben might have had died on his lips when he felt that warm, wet fingertip.
Oh no.
Drag along his rim once more. This time pressing gently inside. His brain swirls of fuck, because he's so tight and Callum's fingers are so perfect.
I take it fuck was one word.
Oh yeah, in italics.
That's going to be hell to censor.
Another finger. 1, 2, 3.
3? This is ambitious. Give the poor guy... I mean, he asked for permission when he gently rubbed his thumb underneath his head, and now he's just forcing 3 fingers inside of him. The logic in Callum's permission is just through the roof.
3 slick digits spreading him wide.
Slick digits?
Wider, but not enough.
Well, like an umbrella. So when he's got them inside of him, does he open them up like an umbrella?
God, Ben, Callum rasps, pushing his fingers deeper. You look so f***ing good like this.
Oh.
Need it. God, need you. And yeah, Ben's a mess.
Is that the writer telling the reader? Oh,
I think he's just telling everyone.
But he's
Ben
a
is a
mess.
mess.
Ben is a mess.
Callum tuts and shakes his head in a mocking gesture, smirking. All right, needy.
Oh, I don't like this Callum. I don't like him at all. He's really gone a bit bitchy.
But that's desperation in his voice too, and Ben latches onto it, diving forward to sink his teeth into the supple flesh on the right angle of his neck and shoulder.
Like a vampire.
No straight lines anymore.
They're not even lines, they're just squiggles.
Callum's eyes slip closed and his head tilts back, vocal cords vibrating with Ben's name.
Best. Best. Like goats.
Callum drags his fingers away, and Ben barely has time to whine as a sudden emptiness.
Oh.
Before Callum's hands are grabbing at his shoulders and flipping his body around.
Right. Now we're into business.
He takes a kissing down Ben's spine. He takes a kissing down Ben's spine and making soft sounds that vibrate against his skin. Ben feels tingly all over and his cock throbs where he pressed it into the mattress.
Oh.
This sensory overload is unreal, and he can't make his head stop spinning. He just can't.
Which head?
Both. Callum's lips are everywhere, and his hands are everywhere, and his smell is everywhere.
Everywhere, I thought it might be. Yeah.
And all Ben knows is Callum, Callum, Callum.
Again?
Callum, Callum, Callum. All one word.
All one word.
Then Callum's climbing up over him and getting Ben exactly where he wants him. Pulled flush against his chest, Ben sighs and rocks against him as Callum drags his dick around the curve of Ben's arse.
I mean, Callum, stop messing around, mate. Just get on with it now.
I love how it's Ben's arse. And every time it's good. So good. Wait, Ben hurries. Wait, hang on a minute. He brings his legs up and turns back around. Face inches from Callum's. Are you okay? Callum asks, his hand on Ben's hip, concern breaking on his face, and feels Callum shiver. Yeah, just wanna... Ben starts, wrapping one thigh around Callum's own. Like this, he explains. Happy now.
Okay, I for a minute thought that Ben might have come to his senses and thought, perhaps we should use protection? But no.
Happy now he can see Callum again. He likes it better that way. He always has.
Yeah, and keep his eye on Callum, you see. Yeah, see, this is the dominance again. He wants to make sure he can keep his eye on him.
Callum pauses and dips a kiss to Ben's lips, understanding his preference. I like your thinking. Just shut the f*** up and f*** me, will ya?
But there we go. So this is it. This is Ben's now become this dominance again.
Callum grips at Ben's left ankle.
Ankle?
Then pushing his leg back over over his head so that he's folded almost in half. Oh
my god! So like he's curled up like a ball, like an armadillo, kind of like. You know
Obviously,
what I mean?
Ben has been doing yoga at home with Kathy, I think.
But no, not with Kathy. We know he does yoga.
Oh yeah, Ruby and Honey.
There we go. So he's been going to classes with them too, and then having a pasta bake afterwards that Ruby's invited herself over to have.
Ben makes a breathy little gasp because he didn't even know his body could do that.
Although months of yoga. Ben holds his breath as Callum sets a pace, excruciatingly slow, sinking down inch by fucking inch. Never has there been an unnecessary fuck than that one. It's a pain like nothing else. Pleasure pulling him apart, and he's dizzy. Well, I think Ben needs to get himself sorted, I think. He's very dizzy. He's very dizzy, very breathless. He shows his teeth at any opportunity. Love when you're like this. So desperate for me, Ben says with a cockiness he shouldn't hold in his current position. He plays the first low drag of his hip, drawing it out as he puts some space between them before letting Callum take charge once more. God, do you ever stop talking? Callum mutters. Again, bitchy Callum. Pushing at Ben's arse intensely. But Ben has tightness around him, rocks down hard and,
Maybe he's the one who is desperate. Brackets. Okay. Brackets. Ben does shut up then. Well, mostly. Callum has his unimaginable skill for getting him weak, incoherent. It's the only time Ben has ever at a loss for words, with Callum's fingers splayed lightly across his balls, his different pressures right where he wants it.
Was that all in brackets?
Yeah. So it's a little side note, I guess.
I know, but
by the way,
but some of that was description, and some of that was like, just so you know, it just seemed to.
It was very important for the story.
Well, it was for me.
Plot point.
Now I know what's happening. Yeah.
Callum carefully draws back, only to snap his hips forward, harder than Ben ever felt before.
Well, we've got the rhythm.
Oh, his head hits back against the headboard.
We knew it'd be important.
Here we go. Neck arching into an almost C-shaped curve.
So his body is folded in half, and his neck is in a C shape.
Against 11 pillows up against the headboard.
So he's folded in So he's folded in what, like 4 different ways? His head, his neck, his back, and his legs.
C-shape.
I feel so
and
sorry.
Teeth.
And his teeth are out, of course.
And he would scream if all the breath hadn't been knocked from his lungs.
But he probably can't breathe because he's in this tight ball.
Skin tingling. Sliding along the planes of Callum's stomach.
Right. Like a washboard.
I like Callum's plane on his stomach.
Plane.
What does that mean? A plane of a stomach?
Plane?
A big open space. I can slow it down if you'd rather. Don't you dare. Callum chuckles darkly at that. The sound portrays the black bloom of his pupils perfectly. He continues to thrust into Ben with pace, not once letting up, searching for a spot that will elect the most delicious of moans.
Like a good ice cream sundae.
Sounds like a dessert, doesn't it?
That sounds like something you find on like a savour menu at McDonald's.
There are lips at his ear again, and a low hoarse whisper. Sharp thrusts serve as a baseline to his words, and the arch in Ben's back becomes more pronounced, completely pliant under Callum's warm body.
So now he can actually see his own spinal column coming out of his back. That's how folded he is. His spinal column can't even keep itself inside his body, that it needs to be released.
Ben's hands react on their own accord, travelling south to the sea in the air.
But the south is where the good weather is, isn't it? It's where the warmth.
And he barely gets a grip on his cock when slender fingers are curling around the bend of his wrist, pinning him back against the pillow. Oh no, let me, Callum says, and it's almost rendered inaudible by the laboured breaths and the wet slap of skin on skin and a faint knocking of hip bones.
Hip bones are out now, are they? His body is trying to rebel.
Yes, they're knocking. Ben angles his gaze down to where their bodies connect, to where they become one.
To become one.
Callum's muscles are tensing and there's a thin sheen of sweat coating his skin and his breath is coming in rasps and pants. And it's the most beautiful primal thing Ben's ever seen. This is like the most Ben's ever seen, I think, in this story. Like everything is like the first thing he's ever seen.
it's like he's never had sex before.
Callum peppers his collarbones with kisses and bruises. And all of a sudden...
And bruises? He's smacking him, punching him, and then kissing him.
And all of a sudden, the angle is just so.
Oh no, he's found the spot.
Callum, Ben grinds his teeth and knocks his
bloody
head...
teeth!
He's grinding on his own teeth and knocks his head back once more, but nothing matters except Callum's body and Callum's hands and Callum's mouth and Callum's cock. Hitting him just right again and again. He's hot, burning sun, and Ben's mercury entirely enveloped by his heated presence.
Thermometer reference.
Yeah.
A bit of a swing and a miss.
It's over me, over my head, and my spine.
And your head on the wooden
my 11 pillows.
Yeah, your 11 pillows.
He can feel the pressure of...
I forgot about the 11 pillow bed.
Yeah.
11 pillows high.
He can feel the pressure of his cock increasing exponentially with each snap of Callum's hips. And he doesn't want this to end, but he's not sure how much longer he can hold the inevitable off.
The inevitable? I have to remember that. Oh no, the inevitable's coming.
Callum, I'm gonna... He can hardly choke out words and his eyes kept rolling to the back of his head. Callum slides his hands down the smooth of Ben's arms and captures his lips in a sweet kiss. Gentle for the first time all night.
Well, he's been punching him in the collarbone.
Me too. Go on. And Ben does. God, he does. He feels himself clench around Callum, and it's like being in a tunnel. His vision is whitewashed. His eyes flutter closed, and then suddenly a spectrum of colours he's never seen before.
I mean, have you ever come so spectacularly in all your life?
Well, none of us have been with Callum.
That's
apart
true.
From Whitney. Does Whitney have the same stories?
That's probably why Whitney was so desperate to keep hold of him.
It's everything. No, it's more than that. Indefinitely so. Hands secure, a vice-like grip on Callum's bicep.
Just one?
Oh no, biceps.
Oh, okay.
Pulling him deeper, closer, wanting to feel this. Feel him forever. Callum fucks him straight through it. Clutching at his waist with a mess of words whispered into his mouth. Why would you whisper words into a mouth? Into someone's ear?
I know, it's very impractical, isn't it?
Tumbling like a waterfall. He can't make out most of it because there's a tsunami roaring across his eardrums.
A tsunami?
Yeah, but he thinks he hears beautiful more than a few times.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Yeah, all one word. His body crumples then, letting the sheets uncurl from his fists, and he feels himself sinking into the mattress. Callum still has one thigh bracketed across Ben's waist.
Bracketed, like a shelving.
Yeah, keeping him down, I'm assuming.
Keeping him attached.
A hand around himself, fucking up into his fist roughly.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't take that in. He must be towing the edge, because his rhythm is becoming increasingly rough and erratic. Ben, he whines, and his voice cracks at the second syllable, and his hips...
Ben's just one syllable. Ben is one syllable. There's not two syllables to Ben's.
Well, he goes... Bear.
No, because Ben's not two syllables.
Listen, you've just stopped this sentence. I'm going to start the sentence again, because the end of the sentence is very important. Ben, he whines with his voice, cracks on the second syllable.
No, didn't happen.
And his hips shudder, and he comes. See why it's so important, that end of the sentence?
Oh, sorry, I interrupted it, did I?
Callum's face, then, is something of a piece of art. One Ben wants to see in galleries. He's stunning all the time, Callum is. Breathtakingly so.
He's stunning all the time, Callum is.
But when he's coming, he's, well, Ben doesn't even think there's a word for that. His skin is sweaty, shiny, his muscles are tight, his lips and teeth tell a tale. Sign of the pleasure crushing through his body. The teeth are back. Ben wants this moment on repeat for the rest of his life, with a weak arm, and collapses next to him, stretching his neck over the fort of pillows. So those 11 pillows have been there the whole time.
At least the writer is acknowledging it. It's now a fort. They built a little fort to hide in.
He places a kiss, feather light and barely there, a vast contrast to his previous movements.
Well, punching, yeah.
And rests his head on Ben's chest, one arm flung around his waist, and wild hair tickling his chin. They're both sticky and sweaty and pretty gross, but Ben doesn't think he ever wants to move from this spot right here.
Sticky, sweaty and pretty gross is how I would describe most foods in Greg's.
Hi, Callum whispers, hot, sweet-smelling breath exhaled down Ben's own throat, filling his lungs. That was, Ben starts, unable to finish. Yeah, it was. He's had something on his tongue for days now, Ben has.
His teeth?
He figures now is a good time as any to let it slip. Cal, his voice is so raspy, it's barely a voice at all. Callum hums against his sternum. I think I'm in love with you. I know. That's what Callum
replies, I know. Oh, Callum!
He presses a feather-like kiss to the spots right over Ben's slowing heart.
Before he has a stroke.
And Ben's pretty sure that means, I love you too.
No, that's not a happy ending. I love you, I know. That's from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
that's
Han
what Princess
Solo.
Leia says to Han Solo.
Well, there you go. That was their romp in a Caribbean hotel room, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm sure I can speak for all of our listeners that that's 25 minutes of our lives we're never getting back. So, but did you guys enjoy it? Do you have any fan fiction that you've written that you'd like us to read out on the show?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, get in touch on Twitter at EastEnders Week. Send us a DM on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Join our Facebook group, EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Just search that and click to join. Or email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. Just put the subject, My Fan Fiction.
And I hope you enjoyed it.
What a happy ending. I hope you guys had a happy ending at home too.
We all did.
I know.
Including Ben. Doesn't seem to be that first thing on his mind this week because he ended up being the victim of the bullet. The bullet duff.
He got penetrated another way.
Oh, for God's sake. It's not a fan fiction now. You have to clean up your act.
I'm sorry, but I feel like this week's edition of EastEnders Weekly has become a love-in.
Disgusting.
Yes, yeah, it's basically become filth.
Well, it's a big gay wedding. What do you expect? How good did the Vic look?
The Vic looked great.
It
It
used to look like that all the time.
Yeah, no. And it was nice that, again, all the cast were there. It was nice seeing the square with a bit of activity happening, all the police officers.
Poor Denise, though. She didn't get much, did she?
I know, she was kind of kept out of the way, wasn't she?
On the floor. She would have been good in the Vic.
Well, I don't know. She can be a bit mouthy, can't
Yeah,
she?
exactly.
I don't think that a mouthy person really was useful in that situation. I mean, look at Jean when she stepped
stupid
up.
Jean.
Said, don't be a silly boy.
Yeah, and then she was like, I'm just going to phone Stacey. It's like, what?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like told to stay, like get on the ground and stay still. Apart from Shirley, of course. Shirley was adamant.
You know that Shirley scene?
Mm.
Fun fact for everyone.
Yeah.
'Cause I've just read on Twitter. So probably everyone knows anyway by the time this comes out, but I don't care. That scene wasn't shown on BBC Scotland. Cut out that scene of Shirley standing there. How weird's that?
Is there a reason for that?
Don't know. I have to ask Duncan Lindsay because he's the one that said it from the Metro. But yeah, how weird's that?
That's really weird. I'm trying to think of a reason why that would have been cut out. Because surely that would have been cut out for sensitivity reasons.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like it overrun. 3 minutes early ended.
Yeah, it was a really short episode on Friday as well, wasn't it? But then they did have a really, really long episode on either Monday or Tuesday. It was about 32 minutes, which is a really strange thing to happen.
Change the duff maybe for 2 minutes somewhere. That's weird that Shirley scene was cut, but it was quite funny, that scene. Like, she was just like, nah.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not going to make me sit on the ground. These are my new jeans.
She went out for a fag.
Yeah, good for her.
Right, Sharon.
Yeah.
Right,
She's at the police just telling them what's happening. Shall I go back in? Shall I talk to them for you?
And it's amazing as well. We're talking about Bianca just turning up, not even taking centre stage.
Wasn't it? It was just
but
nothing there.
Lisa was also back this week. And again, kind of like there's too much going on. Forgot about Lisa.
But Lisa was like a roller coaster because I expected Lisa to come in being quite brash and very brave and up for meeting Phil. But she was just her kind of mousy self still. And I was a bit upset by that.
She wants to go to Portugal.
Yeah, but she was really like, we got to get to Portugal. We got to get there quickly, and I'm going to take Keanu and Louise with me, and they're happy to come with me. But we can't let Phil find out. We got to go now. And it just, I don't know. It just didn't feel like I didn't want Lisa to be like that when she came back. I wanted Lisa to be straight and completely logical and on the right path of knowing what she wants, being strong-minded.
She said to Mel she wasn't sure whether she'd be able to do what she needed, didn't she? She was worried that if she did take Keanu and Louise on the run, that she might not be able to do it. She might have a breakdown. She might do something wrong. She was questioning herself whether, I think she was just saying yeah to Louise and Keanu to do it because she thought, I'm her mum, so I have to do this, but I don't think I should, or I am the right person.
Oh, I see. So ideally she didn't think that it was the right thing for her.
No.
But she was doing it for Louise and Keanu.
She had to.
I understand.
Yeah,
that makes sense. When it was announced Lisa was coming back, I was expecting, especially since she left on that, she had that breakdown in the in the hotel room. I was expecting her to come back being just not a new woman, but the Lisa we knew right at the beginning, the really confident.
Yeah, a bit
Lisa.
more level-headed.
Yeah,
since she was out of the
asylum.
She checked herself out.
Which she checked. Yeah, she checked herself out, but there must have been a reason for it. But then I suppose that's a warning sign in itself that she checked herself out. Of the.
We've got a lot more of Lisa to come as well.
Yeah,
like she's still in it now. So.
But then there was that scene when Phil was like, and just kind of slammed her phone on the floor. The phone broke very easily.
No, I thought that.
I thought the phones don't break like that. In fact, all you get is like the troublesome broken screen. Felt like, again, she was under Phil's power, and it was like, oh, for goodness sake. Why can't she just have a moment where she is controlling Phil? Like, why does Phil always have to be like this power lord over her?
Give her time, she'll get there. I mean, she did get herself into the action because she slipped into the Vic last minute before it locked up. So she made sure she was front and centre for the big scenes.
But then she wasn't there for the big scenes.
Yeah, but she was there in the background. That counts.
Yeah, but she didn't have much involvement other than to scream, "No, Louise, no!" And, it was just nothing. Again, nothing. It would be nice if she did have more interaction with Hunter. I mean, she grew up with Hunter, So, Mel had this influence.
Yeah, she kind of said to Mel, "Oh, come on, Mel, just sort him out."
Yeah, exactly. She kind of just pushed Mel into the centre and to do the work for her. Everyone.
There were some funny scenes as well with Louise and Bex, like in the toilet, like chatting about life as well. They like almost seemed like final. I guess there was kind of like a red herring of maybe Louise will die or maybe Bex will die. Maybe that's why they filmed them like that.
Yeah, when Bex stood in for Louise to be a hostage for Hunter.
I volunteer.
I did think at that moment that it was Bex was going to die.
Especially with Sonia on the floor, like helping Ben. And
because I turned to you and I said, Bex has nothing more to do. This is the end of her story. And you just put this wry smile on your face. And I thought, oh, I'm wrong, aren't I?
I knew Hunter was dying, sadly. So
again, Bex is like the biggest self-pity party. Probably just outside of Lola, where sorry Lola, I'm really sorry, because she was in the toilets and Louise was, oh, how did you do on your A levels? On my AS I got D's and C's, and in a really depressed, sad way she went, I got 2 A stars and an A.
I got exactly what I needed for my future.
I know, and it's like, for goodness sake, Bex.
I know, but you have to remember Bex doesn't want to go, so if she wanted to not get the grade.
No, she doesn't want to go to Oxbridge.
Yes.
Well, she can go. She has her choice of any university in the United Kingdom, possibly the world, if she wanted to. So if she wants to not necessarily take the path down medicine or becoming a doctor, so Sonia can finally meet one, why doesn't she take something else somewhere else? Her options in her head.
She's not got the confidence to do that, though, has she, Bex? She's not.
Also, she just wants to stay in Walford and work in retail. She sounds like, I tell you who she reminds me of, Sharon. Circa 1986, when she was starting the apprenticeship scheme, and she starts off her job in the retail shop. Then she goes to the travel agents. Then she gets bored of that, and then goes to doing temp work. Then goes. Well,
Louise and Bex are the new Michelle and Sharon.
I suppose they are.
But yeah, she wasn't the victim, I'm afraid.
No.
But that was her moment of the week. Bex's moment.
That was that. I feel I can hear Marty McCutcheon singing in my in my head right now.
Because obviously Hunter, he escapes. I mean, how stupid is Mel? She put him and she was like, get in the boot, I'll be back in a minute. And she just disappeared for like 40 minutes talking to Lisa.
Left him in the boot. I mean, I don't blame Hunter in a way for trying to find a way out.
But like, the most stupidest thing is she put a bag next to him, gave him a torch, and then left the gun in the bag.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
So for God's sake, Mel.
Knowing how trigger happy Hunter is, knowing the reason why Hunter is in prison in the first place was the fact that he shot
Ray,
and
then went back to the body and dug out a bullet just to look at it.
Yeah, and then had the gun which he kept holding and almost fondling with like encouragement and love for himself and how much he loved the gun, that she had to dismantle it and throw different parts of the claim she threw different parts of the gun in different parts of Walford.
So for God's sake, Mel.
I know, she's just not thinking, is she? She's not thinking.
Just take the bag with you. With the gun. Then none of this would have happened. But he got the gun, he was after Jack, like that was his mission. That's when he knocked out Denise.
Yeah, she
in her pointless everything. She wanted to get like a change of shoes or something, didn't she?
Well, she took her about 20 minutes for her to walk from the centre of the square to Jack's house.
Yeah, she was drunk.
No, she wasn't drinking. She hadn't been drinking at that point.
Do I live at B&B? Do I live... Where's Kim? Where's Patrick? Where do I live now?
Does Patrick still have that stroke? What happened there? Yeah, I suppose she's probably been everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah, so she got knocked out and then that was her for the rest of the week. So that was her moment of the week.
I mean...
Her look.
Yeah,
her wake up.
She was good when the ambulance crew arrived and they were like, who did this? And she was like, I don't know.
No, because Mel found her, but Mel didn't stay with her or help her. She just phoned the ambulance and left.
Well, because it was incriminating.
I don't want to get involved with this.
Well, yeah, because they would immediately say, oh, so you phoned her, Mel, did you? Do you really not know where Hunter is right now?
But no, he made his way to the Vic, and it was really clever how they entwined like all the stories with Hunter, because they managed to mix in the Mick and Linda storyline of Hunter, like the anxiety storyline, which is quite clever.
I mean, I wouldn't credit everything for Hunter. I would credit everything that it's all gone into the Vic, which is how it should be. All stories should, if you're going to do a big piece, it all needs to be the centre, the heart.
Yeah.
This is the Vic.
And it was also nice that we got a little update on Lee Carter's life from Mick.
Oh yeah, he's sorting himself out, isn't it?
Yeah, seeing girls again. Going out, drinking, having fun.
We know what the real Lee Carter is doing, because he's always posting on Instagram.
He is. He's eating vegan food.
Good man.
Goes to the gym.
Excellent.
He's bought a Frenchie recently. And he's just been cast in the new series of Not Gone Girl, what's it called? Our Girl.
Oh,
which
the
used to be a Lacey Turner
show.
But she dropped it to get back to Stacey's boots. So yeah, he's very busy, Danny boy.
Good for
Very
you,
good.
Danny boy.
And Lee's doing all right, so
Well, yeah, but
better
also
without Whitney.
Yeah, so Lee's fine. I mean, yeah, everyone's better without Whitney. The burden on your back, isn't it? The devil on
poor
your back.
Whitney.
I know. Will she ever find love?
What's Whitney's next storyline going to be then?
Well, she's dated someone who she manipulated in getting into
Depression.
yeah, and debt.
Woody.
Woody.
She started stealing things, and then
Oh,
he
yeah.
covered it for her.
That's right. And then he stole money. But didn't get away with it. And she's dated a man who's potentially bisexual or gay. So
what can she do next? Friendship with Chantel, I think. Maybe she
Well,
can be there for Chantel when
yeah.
the grey thing happens.
when it comes out, yeah. But yeah, her and Chantel have got quite a good relationship, haven't they? Good friendship.
Or maybe Tiff will move in with Whitney in the flat.
Yeah.
Maybe, and that'll be like.
Well, no,
thing.
because that's not Whitney's flat to have. It's Callum's.
Yes, it's mine.
No, it's not. It's Callum, because Callum works.
The least I can do. I need this flat.
No, Callum and Ben need to live in that flat now.
Oh yeah, Pam.
My little shack pack.
Pam, Callum, and Ben all together.
Oh yeah, because is it rumoured or is it true?
Rumoured.
Rumoured.
She is coming back. That's true.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the reason why she's coming back is rumoured.
Okay.
But we won't talk about that yet.
Well, but you might be able to find a few hints if you go to our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
Where you can
did a
find
video of it. Didn't we?
you can find EastEnders news and chat.
So we have Hunter and the Vic.
Yeah.
He's held Mick hostage, Linda hostage, and he basically says, "If you just get Jack in here, I'll let you go."
Yes.
And like Linda actually was going to go through with it as well. Like,
She was like,
right, Linda.
Very complacent.
She's had enough of shootings this year, hasn't she?
I mean,
So,
it's-
let someone else deal with it. But Mel stopped her. She said, Jack, don't go in there. Linda was like, no, go on. There's a cake in there. Get in there. Ready to shoot him. But
Mel was quite quick to work it out, wasn't she? When Linda looked worried, she realised Hunter's been missing for a while. The guns have been missing.
And Jack. She was looking for Jack as well, wasn't she?
Hunter's mentioned on more than 500 occasions that he wants revenge back on Jack.
Jack tackles him though, like just goes.
Oh
out
no,
and
that
does
was
it.
the most pathetic tackle in the history of anything. He was there. He had Hunter in. He could easily overpowered Hunter. I'm not being horrible. Hunter may be younger, but Jack is beefier. He's more worked out.
Yeah, especially this year.
Much stronger. He could have easily overpowered Hunter when the gun wasn't in his hand. The gun was on the floor.
He might have been drunk though.
But Jack's trying to get back to being an inspector.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that doesn't bode well, does it? It's like he can't even tackle a 19-year-old child.
Yeah, but even when all five of the men were on Hunter and the Vic, when he was like about to shoot someone, they all jumped on him.
Yeah, but he had the gun in his hand and it was poised, ready to shoot.
Yeah.
When Jack did it, okay, admittedly, Jack was running in blind. He just slammed the door open and just jumped on him. But at the same time, he did know he had a weapon, and he must have noticed that Hunter had dropped it very momentarily, very quickly. So that was his option. I mean, Jack ruined it. Jack failed.
Jack's fault.
Yeah.
Not Mel's fault.
All this leads to Jack's fault. If you go right to the very beginning of this story, it's all Jack's fault.
Yeah, Jack.
So Jack has basically got Hunter's blood on his hands. So I blame Jack entirely.
Yeah, well, he ended up shooting in the hustle and bustle. He ended up shooting Ben.
Yeah.
And then Ben fell into Callum's arms very convincingly. He saw, this is an opportunity. Whoop, sat in his lap.
Yeah. I mean, he was...
Might as well take it.
His eyes were rolling right back. I mean, I think we were
No.
getting a snapshot of that night on the playground, to be perfectly honest with you.
I thought we were going to talk about the fan fiction then. Snapshot of that.
The less we talk about that, the better.
Callum was very good though. He was like hugging, comforting him, using his army training to keep him awake and alert and tell stories.
Yeah, I love the way he said, I've done this in army. It's like it's a game. I've done this in army.
And Whitney was looking on, nodding yes.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to out you actually.
No.
I quite like this.
Yeah, because Ben was telling stories and Callum was comforting him and Whitney was watching from afar.
I couldn't really understand the story though. Like, I know he was like dying, but I couldn't really understand
It's
what
a
he
story
was saying.
he was telling Lexi. It was like a story about
a lion
prince.
or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like a prince comes along and saves a princess.
I didn't know if it was important, like to him and Callum. I don't know if it was referencing something. But
I don't
couldn't.
think so.
I need like the subtitles. I think.
Yeah, no, I think it was just a softer moment between Callum and Ben that was being.
And Sonia.
Wait, Sonia was busy disinfecting knives and biros. Making air holes through Ben's collapsed lunged chest.
She did it though.
She did, well, with the pressure of Phil as well.
Nice to Phil.
Yeah, but the thing is that Sonia and the Mitchells have got quite a strong relationship. I mean, she got together with Jamie, and then together they went through the grief of him dying. She tried to sleep with Phil one drunk night.
Yes.
Let's never forget that. And now she's just saved Phil's son's life as well. I mean, Phil's got a lot to owe to Sonia, and yet doesn't really show it. When Phil delivered Kim's baby in the Minute Mart, he went over for dinner, had a nice dinner. He paid for a holiday to get away off to Scotland.
Yeah, what's he going to do to Sonia?
Well, probably nothing. Nothing.
Get rid of Robbie.
Well, yeah,
I bought Robbie a flat 300 miles away. Thanks.
On the moon. This is not far enough.
But they kept doing that thing this episode where like Hunter was about to be talked down and then like the phone rang and it was the police. And it's like, for God's sake.
Well, no, there was that really, I must say, there was that really amazing
with Mel.
intense scene with Mel. I genuinely I was holding my breath.
And I thought he's going to do it.
I really did. Because I turned to you and I turned to you and I said, they never show her getting shot on screen. They can't. It would be
but
too
they
graphic.
lingered on it, didn't they? And it was like, well, maybe.
It was a real linger,
happen.
yeah, and it really.
In a weird way, it would have been really, really good.
It would
like,
have been
short term. Not think about the future, but like short term, it would have been like, wow, they've just shot Mel. Like,
yeah, it's a shame that it was aimed at her chest. I think if it had been aimed, if we were rewriting the story, rewriting
her
history,
shoulder, like Keanu,
yeah, her shoulder or somewhere like that, it would have made some sense. Still, ultimately, Hunter would
like warn her, like
die,
I will do it,
but yeah, and then shoot her, so it kind of skids off her shoulder or something like that, because that would have been really devastating. Because obviously that's her baby, and she just can't see Hunter any other way. That's her child, and she truly believed that he wouldn't do something like that. And I think it would have been a nice touch that maybe it would have been a sign that Hunter has changed. This isn't the Hunter that
he tips over the edge.
Yeah, Hunter always had that side to him when he slept with Louise and he looked at the camera and straightened his tie and wanted to wind up Phil. And he always had that kind of Steve, that charm. So he was always dangerous, but he had the charm with it.
Yeah, because Steve wasn't like an out and out villain, was
No.
he? He was a bit like Dirty Den, like you kind of loved him even though he was bad. But Hunter was.
But that something turned Hunter after the shooting of
psychopath.
Ray. Yes,
that test.
83% or something. I mean, good again, well written. That a year or so ago he took the test, found out he was a psychopath.
He's built on it,
and now he's done it. Yeah, they've done it.
It's like one of those things at school when they say your career should be. He took that test, knew he should be a psychopath, and delivered.
Yeah.
So yeah, she nearly talked him down of the gun, and then the phone rang. It was the police. And then the next time, when he was about to like end it all because it was just getting a bit too much for him, Phil comes in with a bloody crowbar. It's like, for God's sake.
I love he said to
what do you
Keanu,
think's going to happen, Phil? And then he just dropped the crowbar straight away.
Yeah. He showed his love for Ben, so that was nice. So that
he gave him a little look, didn't he?
When he went over to Ben and said, "Save my son, save him. Don't worry, Ben, I love you, son." That was nice. I loved that Phil turned to Keanu and said, "Find me a weapon to bash him with." It's like so Phil. It was just perfect. And when Hunter came out the Vic with Louise as hostage, and
Louise's moment to shine,
and Sharon was like, "Where's Phil?" As if Phil could do something. Little did Sharon know that Phil did very little to help the situation in that Vic.
Really nice moment as well when all the slow motion things were happening. I don't know if you noticed, but when it was when Hunter went to the middle, he was about to shoot Louise, and like all the police were aiming at him. They were about to. I think the police shot Hunter, didn't they, in the end?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was a nice little moment because Sharon she called out Mel's name to make Mel turn away and not see Hunter be killed. So it was like a really nice moment because their like friendship had kind of gone somewhere last week, hadn't it? And it's like just that little touch. She did that for Mel. So that was quite nice.
I agree with you. And there was 3 shots as well by the police. And so at one moment you did think that perhaps Louise got shot as well as Hunter. But then Louise kind of woke up. It's like she'd been asleep.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Like she fell on the ground and fell asleep for like a minute.
Yeah, again, it was like a thing of which one's dead, and like maybe that should have been the ending, or maybe like you think, oh, that's going to be the ending. We'll find out on Monday if Louise is dead or Hunter. But then she just woke up and started screaming. It's like, oh,
yeah,
pretty weird.
So Hunter's dead, and that was
that was odd. And then Mel ran over
and comforted him and said, "My baby, Mummy's here." And that was again another really sweet moment when the camera panned out and you just saw Mel. Basically, Mel's world has just collapsed around her. The one thing she had left, the one memory of Steve Owen, and also
the end
her
of the
child.
Owens as well. That's it. Unless he had a baby somewhere, Hunter.
The line's gone. No,
no,
too young.
I mean, I think you said 3 shots were fired. I think don't police do that so each policeman doesn't know if they did the killing shot. It's like some weird thing, isn't it?
I don't know. That sounds very line of duty to me.
Something like that. It's so you don't know if you're the one that killed the person.
Well, like when they have 3 switches for the electric chair. So you don't know which one is the one.
It's kind of like that, I think.
The live switch.
Yeah. So no one, like a policeman, wouldn't feel guilty or
morbid
whatever.
to think, isn't it?
No, because otherwise you'd know, and then you might feel guilty, or it might give you trigger or whatever.
Yeah, but surely those gunmen are trained for that purpose, if needs be.
I'm sure that's what it is. It goes back to like It's getting very dark now. Like, you know, when people used to get shot, like, in camps.
Concentration camps.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, you'd all shoot.
The Nazis. That's where we got our gun
I just
training
said
from.
it's going dark. But, like, that's
The
where
German
it comes,
Nazis.
Like, all of those sort of things, they do that because the person doesn't know if they're the one who killed the person. It's basically like a thing, isn't it? Do you not know that?
I wasn't hugely aware of
Well, that's
it.
what happened to Hunter.
Okay.
But Louise is safe.
They do say the extreme right is on the rise. So is the police force the extreme right?
Keanu got shot as well. Can't forget him. His moment to shine.
Yes, he did. He got shot in the shoulder.
How's he going to lift weight?
Wait, not easily. He can use his right bicep, not his left. So he can really tone up his right. Be like that episode of The Simpsons.
Actually, it's his left because we looked at him straight on. So it's his right shoulder.
No, he was on
got
his
shot.
His head was on the left hand side, and he was laying with his right shoulder on the ground. So his left.
Well, he's not going to be able to do bench presses for a while.
No.
Or push-ups, or pull-ups.
He doesn't
Louise
do it
will dump
anyway.
him. Louise will be like, "You're not musty anymore."
Yeah. What's my baby going to think?
I'm moving on.
Daddy, give me money.
I was quite upset. We saw Sharon with her white trainers, but she didn't really have much action.
No escapade.
She did like half a run-ish.
I didn't even see that. I don't remember.
I think it was like when the shooting thing. She like, when I say half a run, she ran like 2 steps, like backwards.
You sure she didn't just slightly stumble from the shock of the bullets being shot?
But yeah, I was like, her trainers are on. I thought she was going to get in the action, but no. At least she's safe.
The quarantine line, the line to stop the people from like getting
Didn't
in
include the
harm's
alleyway.
way. Well, yeah, one didn't include the alleyway, but also seemed quite close to the action. You'd think they would close off the whole of Bridge Street,
Oh yeah.
but they just kind of cut it up only halfway up.
Well, when they shot Hunter, they just let Mel run over to him, and they didn't even kick the gun away or anything.
Well, no, that's true, because
They're
normally
rubbish.
when they shoot, they kind of run up to them with the gun still aimed at him to make sure, yeah, as you say, and then kick the gun away to make sure.
Rubbish, aren't they?
They just kind of just presumed he was dead. Perhaps he got shot 3 times due to their Nazi regime. So they just knew he was dead and just carried on seeing how the people were in the Vic.
Well, yeah, he is dead. I'm quite upset that it was Hunter, because it was, when it was revealed, like, it feels like 3 or 4 months ago that Hunter was coming back. They said Hunter's coming back to be killed off. So the fact that this was the death, it's like, we already knew that. So that's a bit like, oh.
Yeah, but there was a few red herrings, to be fair. Like, obviously, Ben being a big one until he had a truncophotomy, or whatever it's called. And Keanu was a surprise. I was
shocked. I thought, oh, maybe these leaks I've read aren't true, but they were.
I was a bit upset. I mean, it made the scenes nice when Louise and Keanu looked at each other, just before Hunter seemed to aim the gun at Louise. And so that was quite a nice shot between them. But in a way, I kind of wish that Keanu had got shot and there'd been more of a reaction from Sharon. And so Louise would have noticed like this big reaction from Sharon.
Yeah, why she cares so much.
Yeah, why is she so invested in Keanu's safety?
It was a bit strange when Hunter suddenly aimed the gun at Louise. Was he doing that so he got killed? Because he said sort of goodbye to Mel as he went, didn't he? He said like, I'm at the end now. He said something like that as he exited. I wondered if he thought, I've taken this. There's too far now. And I think, did he point the gun at Louise knowing that
they would shoot him
then? Because it seemed a bit strange he suddenly did that.
Yeah.
He like kind of thought, oh no.
But he might as well just turn the gun on himself, really. He should have just...
He may be too of a coward, didn't he? Like, he puts on this hard man front, but remember when he went to prison for the first time? He was like breaking down crying. I think he's a bit too much of a coward to kill himself like that.
Oh yeah, that's quite...
But yeah, that was the death. Summer death. Slow summer.
Anymore. It's autumn.
Yeah, that was the series final of summer, that was.
Oh, was it? Oh, no, this is the beginning of the new series.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, make your mind up. Was it the end of one or beginning of another?
No, it was the end of summer, and now it's the autumn now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do a trailer for the new season.
There will be one, like, probably Monday.
Yeah, but it would have made sense to do it after. Well, I suppose like maybe Monday then. Yeah, Monday would make sense.
There you go. That was the summer wrapped up.
Right, we're running out of time, so we need to do Who Won the Week. So let's go.
Now.
And you know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Time for Who Won the Week, which is when we read out your comments on our Instagram, Twitter and Facebook group. But before we do any of that, as usual, we go back in time with Ben and we find out whose birthdays may have been forgotten or missed this week.
And who died.
And who died.
Of course, my favourite thing.
I know you like death, don't you?
Next year I can say Hunter.
Oh, we'll look forward to it. We'll hold you to that. Everyone remember that. 365 days.
Right, birthdays first, because we're celebrating. Even though this week's EastEnders is all set on like the last day of August, so none of these birthdays would have been mentioned yet. Okay. But I don't care. Right, 1st of September 1961, Barry Evans was born.
Oh, Barry.
So Janine's gave a little cheers to him, I think, on a mansion.
I doubt it.
Yeah, thanks for the money. Right, the second one is Jack Branning's birthday, 5th of September 1972. So I expect we'll see a Jack Branning birthday storyline next week, maybe.
So, oh no, see, I wish that Jack got shot on his birthday.
And died.
Yeah.
1st of September 2000, Shaquille was born.
Oh.
So yeah, poor Shaquille. What would Bex think? Bex didn't care, did she? She's off to uni.
2 A stars with an A.
Busy time for the Mitchells. We had the 2nd of September 2004, Freddie Mitchell was born, who's Billy and little Mo, isn't he, Freddie?
Mm-hmm.
We had 4th of September 2006.
Hang on, but it wasn't Billy's child, was it?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
She'd been raped.
Yeah. Still Mitchell. 4th of September 2006, we had Janet Mitchell was born. So it's her birthday next week as well.
Oh, I hope they celebrate Janet's birthday.
And 1st of September 2010, Ricky Mitchell was born. And he's living with Jack at the moment, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know Ricky. He had one face one day and then changed it the next.
So, yeah, all the kids.
Yeah.
So people 9 months ago, there must have been lots of sexy time storylines.
EastEnders, the next generation.
Right, and one death, which is one of your favourite deaths, because of the noise it makes in her throat. 3rd of September 2009, Trina Johnston was killed in the shed.
Oh, I love that death.
Yes, when he pushes her into the...
It's the noise that makes when she pulls her neck out from the rake.
Ugh.
Oh, it's a great death.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas pushed her into the rake.
So yeah, and then this week, Denise gets hit on the head, knocked out.
Not with a rake.
No,
we might add. God. No, fair enough.
There
lovely.
Lots of births, one death.
Fair enough. No time, I'm afraid, to actually talk about a story that's happened in
No.
the past. But there is time to talk about stories that have
Sharon
happened.
bought the Vic. There you go.
Good.
That happened somewhere.
That could have happened any time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So 4 stories that we had this week for Who Won the Week were Hunter's Siege.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Keanu fronts Ben.
Nah. Didn't even talk about it. Next.
Oh no, we didn't, did we?
No. They had a little fight. And they rolled onto the floor. It was really fun.
It was quite important.
Yeah, I did like it, but it doesn't matter. They've been shot now, it's fine.
Okay, fine. And Whitney's eyes open.
Oh yes, they were.
They were
very
widened,
wide.
Yes. And Callum's running.
Oh yeah.
Callum's running's a story of its own.
We did talk about that for quite a long time.
It really did. It overshadowed Keanu and Ben having a fight in E20.
It was a good fight. It was funny.
Well, it's because Keanu wanted Ben to go to the police, and then Sharon tells Keanu that Phil knew all along.
Oh
and
yeah,
that
there
really
was a Sharon and Keanu scene as well when she said, "Your baby will have a dad. It will be Phil." She was like, "Oops, I shouldn't have said that."
Because she wanted Keanu to leave because she thought it'd just be easier.
Yeah, just get rid of you.
Yeah, but then she couldn't let him go.
Too pretty.
Yeah,
and he's got stubble, so he looks good now.
And hair on his head.
Dry lips though. He needs some chapstick.
Well, maybe he was just kind of gasping for air after getting shot.
No, he always got dry lips. Where his name is.
Have you been kissing Keanu?
No, not with those lips.
Right. So, who do you think won the week?
Hunter's Siege.
Yes. You're correct.
Good.
So I should do it in reverse order from winner to loser.
Mm-hmm.
So first was Hunter's Siege with 33% of the vote. Second was Whitney's Eyes Opened with 28% of the vote.
Ooh.
Callum's Running came third with
good.
23% of the vote. So to be fair, the fact we didn't talk about it isn't too upsetting to a lot of people because it came last with 16% of the vote. But really close. I mean, it's been a week of...
Yeah, but Callum's Run beat it. Of course.
Yeah, but it's amazing.
Seen those trousers?
Have you seen the memes? Thank you for voting. Don't forget you can always vote and comment on our Twitter, which is at EastEnders Week, on our Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or you can go to our Facebook group, just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and then click to join. So here's some comments really quickly.
Ooh.
On Twitter, at Jewel Alls Gold has wrote, "I so knew Hunter would be killed. End of the Owen line."
Yeah, I know.
Sean Snowden on Facebook said, "Callum could be the saviour for Ben. I think Callum will be the one that clearly spends the most time at Ben's bedside."
Reading him books.
Yeah, more stories for him to share with Lexi.
About lions.
Yeah.
There's a big
Hatch
lion
the Wizard of
called
Oz.
Callum.
You could tell them the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, but put EastEnders characters in it. Callum would be the scared one.
The Scarecrow.
Yeah.
No, the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, the Cowardly Lion. Ben would be the Tin Man.
What, has no heart?
Yep.
Okay.
Whitney's the Wizard of Oz.
No, Whitney's Dorothy.
Oh, yeah.
She has to be Dorothy. Who's the Scarecrow then? Stuart.
What's wrong with the Scarecrow?
Scarecrow.
I don't know the Wizard of Oz that much.
Scarecrow's got no brains.
Yeah, Stuart.
There you go.
Could do it.
I'd love them to do that. Anyone listening?
Who could be the dog? Lola.
Ooh, calm down now. Calm down. Anyone listening from EastEnders, if you are indeed listening,
you are.
Could you please do a special Wizard of Oz?
Children in Need.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, that'd be well good.
If they do that, I will donate to Children in Need.
Yeah.
How much will be decided on how good it is. or what we have in our bank
Because
account.
Whitney's a really good singer as well.
Yeah, so she'd do Dorothy really well.
Yeah.
And they could
Tiff
do the
can be in it. Who can
Munchkins. They've got loads of characters who can be
Tiff.
Munchkins. Tiff,
Karen,
Shrimpy,
Karen,
Winston,
Tracy,
Tracy.
Kathy.
Kathy should be the
White Witch.
the White Witch, yeah. She should be. Who's going to be the evil witch?
Shirley.
No, yes, Shirley. I was going to say Rainey, but Shirley's better.
Yeah.
Shirley could have a house fall on her and her legs could curl up and have cigarette smoke coming up from underneath the house.
It works. We need to write a pitch and send
Right.
it in.
Right, BBC, if you are listening,
Write it for us.
yeah, do it for us and we'll just advertise it on the podcast. Andy Gibson on Facebook says, love Bianca, Patsy is a stellar actor. Jessie Wallace isn't though. Patsy was wasted being paired with her.
Hardly. Jessie Wallace is good when she's got stuff to do. Yeah, my mother. Hello.
That's true. At Gavin Coley 2, sorry if I've mispronounced your name, Gavin, said on Twitter, literally no words, tense AF.
No Ted. I thought you were about to say Ted then. Ted was missing this week.
Ted was missing. We had this theory, didn't we, that Ted
He's
was
gonna
going to be
get
shell shot. Yeah, he's going to jump in the way and get shot. Never happened. At Hayley Coral on Instagram said, Hunter being shot was still emotional. Overall, I cried a lot this week.
Yeah, it was good. Highs and lows from my emotions.
Two nice comments also on Facebook from Richard Gold. Said, I will say that it's really incredible how good the show is right now after several years in the doldrums. It's just going from strength to strength and it's so wonderful to see. It's not just Bianca and Lisa being back, though I do love having them back, but the show really does feel like its old self again, and I find myself really excited for each episode without feeling some sort of obligation to watch it.
Well, yeah, you can tell that it's good and a good place. But we've said they've brought back Lisa and Bianca, and like this week would have been just as good if they weren't even there. So like that shows how like improved it is.
The fact that they weren't the main draw for the week, although people did watch it for that reason.
Yeah, but
it was clever really because people watched it because they knew Bianca was coming back. So you may have brought back some of the old audience to watch it. Then they saw, oh, actually,
the cast are quite good anyway.
EastEnders isn't that bad after all. And then Lola came on screen. James Reed on our Facebook group said, this week has been a victory lap for the amazing reboot that the show has undergone over the last 6 months, and has also been a real celebration of the exceptional ensemble cast. Everywhere you turn, there's a brilliant character played by a brilliant actor. Real high praise.
There is, yes.
All over Twitter and the social media.
There's no one being mean, is there? It's very nice.
I was trying to find a counter argument or counter one. The only one I could find was someone did say that the way the police acted on the in the scenes wasn't really what the police would do in real life.
Shaved head woman was back, wasn't she?
Yeah, but also like you said, like the police didn't really kind of go or kind of show. You know, it wasn't really how it would have been
Before
done.
9 p.m. Can't do it.
I
wanted a big pool of blood around Hunter.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's the realism of how he got shot. It's more the realism of how the police would have reacted in that situation, not whether there's enough fake blood on screen at 8:30 on the BBC One. So there, as I say, keep your comments coming in on our Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to keep listening to our podcast. We have a brand new episode every Sunday on Apple Podcasts or your favourite podcast app. You can also find us on YouTube. If you just search EastEnders Weekly, you can find videos of news and also our podcast there too. And don't forget to click to subscribe and ring the bell so you're always up to date with us.
Apparently the algorithms have changed, so you need to ring the bell.
Ring that
That's what I've
bell.
heard.
But pretend you're in the Queen Vic, time at the bar.
Hunt's got a gun at you. You're acting like Shirley.
Yeah. Mick's having a panic attack in the corner and Linda's downing a bottle of vodka.
Well, there you go. That was our week's roundup of EastEnders.
Hope you guys have a good week. See you again soon.